Thank you so much for accepting my invitation and being here. I'm so happy to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ranjani. It's an absolute honor, and I'm honored to be here. So, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
For all the viewers, no, just to introduce this show, I'm Ranjani Sanjay, and I'm doing this show for almost 5 years now, and no, hosted more than 100 guests, and very happy to have Mandeep today. We'll get into the conversation, but before that, I want the audience to know where you are joining from, what do you do, just a little bit of introduction about yourself, and then we will start the topic today.
Thank you, Ranjani, and namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Appreciate everyone's time. My name is Mandeep, and I am live from Goa. So, at the moment, I live in Goa. Some of you might have been here before, but I'm basically from the north. I'm basically from Punjab, but it's been 8 years that I live in Goa. I am a yoga teacher, a life coach, and a mental health counselor. And I have been teaching for the last 9 years, and I've been coaching and counseling for the last 3 years now. And I use my own life, my story, my own struggles and challenges, the things that I have overcome now, I help others with that and just sharing the practice of yoga with my wonderful students and clients. Thank you.
Beautiful, Mandeep. I've been following you on Facebook for a long time, and then later I realized like we come from a common mentors group, and then I was more keen into seeing what you do, and your energy is, I would say, it's fire. So it's like जो पहली बार एक बार देखता है ना, so want to follow you again and again, the kind of energy you have and amazing work that you do.
Thank you.
Today we are talking about mental health and how it is still you know under the carpet kind of a conversation in our Indian homes. So before we get into about mental health and other aspects, I want to know why you chose this area. Is there a personal story to connect here?
Yes, Ranjani. Yes, of course, there's a personal story. So I grew up in a very traditional, conservative Punjabi middle class family. I come from a Sikh background. We are conservative, very community oriented, from a small city in Punjab. And in my 20s, I started experiencing, at that time, I didn't know these are mental health issues. Nobody had ever spoken about it, in school or college or even in the family. But a lot of emotional struggles, I would say, a lot of emotional struggles. And then, as I started progressing with my job, stress came, anxiety came, deep sadness came, emotional pain came. And I struggled because I did not know what to do, where to go, what is happening. Nobody ever spoke about it. And of course, anytime I tried to discuss about it, talk about it, there was always a very vague answer or just being dismissed, not being acknowledged. So it was a very invisible journey, like a very lonely journey. Like my pain was invisible. Why? Because it was not visible. If person has a physical wound, people can see that you are in pain. But when your pain is deep inside of you and others can't see you, I think that's a very lonely journey. Finally, in my mid 30s, I sought help. I That's where I went into counseling because I was really struggling and suffering. Where I was diagnosed with depression, and
Hmm.
I had severe stress, anxiety, burnt out, exhaustion, you name it, and a lot of physical symptoms started. My body was suffering for years of suppressing the emotions.
Hmm.
And then I took my own healing journey, and that's when yoga found me, and I sort of just integrated the holistic yoga practices along with counseling, a whole lot of other things that helped me to
Hmm.
understand what was happening, to be able to express and heal myself. And I realized throughout my journey, such a big shame and stigma, and so many people suffer in silence, and how I was suffering in silence. So when I went through this, I decided that what can I do? How can I use this to help? So I decided to become a coach and a counselor along with a teacher. So I now create a safe, non-judgmental space where people are seen, people are heard, and their pain is acknowledged. What I didn't get, so I do that. That's I think to give you a little bit of idea that I'm not a textbook counselor. I do what I do from my lived experience. You know, when you've been through the pain, you understand what this is, what our country needs, our society needs at the moment.
Very powerfully said, and I can, as you were speaking, I could clearly go back in my, teen, my early, adulthood, I would say, and I could really see those faces where, you can't see the wound, as you said. No, there is trauma, there are things to be addressed, and nobody is there to listen to you, and it's a very, lonely space, as you said, and you've been, courageous, bold to enough to take those, leap of faith and invest in, asking for help and really going out of that zone, and getting where you are today, and you're doing amazing work, which I can see on
Thank you.
Facebook. And pretty much, as you said, no, lived experience, being
Yeah.
a role model, and we have walked the path, and I think that qualifies to be a coach. You don't need labels to, follow your name to tell that what you can offer.
Thank you.
So, moving on, I would like to know, like, from you, why in Indian families, this is, seeking help, is especially around the, mental health area, is like a luxury, or a taboo, or maybe something that, you don't discuss openly with people. Why do you think like this is there in our culture?
So, again, what I have understood from my experience, and I go back to my own family, and what I have seen is, first of all, it's a very important question. It's a very, very important question. You're right when we think that it's a luxury, or it's not ours. It's like from the outside, that it doesn't happen to us. हमारे यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं होता है. So
Mm,
one of the things I understand is that, see, our grandparents, our parents, there is a generational survival mindset. It's the very typical sort of a middle class to upper middle class mindset, which is there prevalent all over India. Is that our forefathers, grandparents, and parents went through a lot of survival time. A lot of struggles, poverty, and the
mm,
priorities were definitely getting some sort of security, job security, food on the table, family obligations, and reputation. We are very, very community based. Our
yeah.
reputation is so important because we are not individuals, we are communities, we operate in communities. So
Mm,
nobody had the time to even think about mental health because, as I said, the priorities were so survival based. But obviously, things like mental health, therapy, counseling are were a luxury, and that's why emotions or expression of emotions were always brushed under the carpet. There was no time or space for that. So that's one of the things that I understood based on even I used to be curious that why are we like this. The second thing is definitely lack of awareness and education. You know, let's even we go back 30 years or 40 years, no one speaks about these things in homes, in schools, in colleges. No one even knows the term like mental health, emotional health. These things are not talked about. So there is no awareness or understanding that it is actually a problem. And on top of that, as I said, that the pain is so invisible that even when somebody knows it, they just ignore it because of lack of awareness. They just think that it's okay, it's normal, struggles are part of life,
mm,
which is not the truth. And the third thing is the stigma and the shame culture. Again, coming back to your reputation and community, what will people say? When
mm,
you live in close knit communities, and let's say somebody from your family is taking counseling or is going to therapy, it's a big shame. Our
mm,
name, our reputation, what will people say, what will people think? And
mm,
because of lack of awareness, we consider these terms as like mental illness, means something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yes, so and so's daughter is in therapy, she's crazy or she's psycho. So these have been so deeply ingrained. But at the same time, we have to realize that times are changing rapidly, especially obviously in the last 10, 15 years with technology and today's young adults and teenagers, they have the whole world at their fingertips. So we have no choice but to shift our own mindset that mental health is no longer a luxury but a necessity. We can
Hmm.
no longer stay silent about it.
Yes. This is no I would say no, like no, we are opening up to this no, this new realm where, and in fact in this side of the world, Asia is opening up to personal development, really no, taking out time for yourself, and no,
Yeah,
that conversations are opening up, and there's something called personal growth. ये भी एक subject है. No,
absolutely.
beyond academics and other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we as like for us and our the generation, we are like 30-40 years ka no baggage leke chal rahe hain, and then now we are working on it. But the access to young youngsters now and parents, what you would advise them, like if somebody is struggling, like since this is like unsaid, even if you're sitting with the person who is dealing with something, we don't know what's going on within them as we can't see the wound. So what would you suggest the youngsters or their parents who has a kind of a sense ki kuch gadbad hai, so what would be your advice to them, how to tackle this?
So my general advice, and I think especially I'd like to talk about the teenagers and young adults. To them is that I do actually work with a lot of teenagers and young adults, 18, 19, 20, that age. And one of the things that I actually tell them is the first thing is I acknowledge, like, it's like I acknowledge your feelings. They're real, they're valid, and you're not alone. Because I know how lonely this journey can be. So the first thing is that it's acknowledging that you're not alone, and I let them know, or I tell them is that seeking help is not a sign of weakness. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. Because that's what we've been taught, especially boys. Men don't cry, boys are supposed to be strong. So, at that age, they think that if I'm seeking help, I'm weak. Or there's something wrong with me. So that's the first thing I tell them, that there is nothing wrong in seeking support because we are all human beings. The second thing which I will tell them is every family dynamics is different. There are families that are very, very strict where it is impossible for the young adult or the teenager to even speak up. So I tell them, or I would tell them, is that if you can't open the full door, if you can't have the full blown conversation, have small talks. Try to open a window and see how things go. At least one of the parents in the family might be a little understanding.
Hmm.
Even if that is not possible, I will tell them that uh, talking is better than bottling up. Do not bottle up, because that when they start suppressing, it's going to haunt them for the rest of their life. The body is going to store it. It's going to become a trauma. So if it is absolutely not possible to speak to a parent, or because it's impossible or it's very scary, and you can't, that you're not going to get that kind of support from your parents, is to speak to a trusted adult. Nowadays some of the schools have school counselors are there,
Yeah.
teachers are there, a trusted adult, for them to find that space where they're able to speak, where they're able to talk, and also let them know that there's no shame in counseling or therapy. They're professionals. They're people who are professional, who know how to guide you, how to counsel you, not to treat you, to guide you, to counsel you. So those are some of the things that I'll tell the teenagers, is encouraging them to seek help no matter what, not to bottle it up, and to acknowledge their pain is real. And to all the parents, I think again it's very important, is to all the parents are carrying their own generational mindsets, that the generational traumas, It is time to let go of that and open your mind that your children are living in a different times. They are exposed to so much, the whole world, so much of judgment, comparison, that their levels of stress and anxiety is even more. They need your support. And I think one of the things which I experience when I'm working with teenagers and young adults is that the fear that my parents will not support me, my parents will not understand me, they will criticize me, they will judge me, they will dismiss me, or they'll take it personally. So coming from their words will be my message to the parents that acknowledge acknowledge them, listen to them, and acknowledge. That's the first step. Do not dismiss when your child or your young adult is trying to tell you that they are going through difficult times. Don't dismiss them, just listen to them, acknowledge. That's the beginning of the support that they need from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, people like you and me, where we are invested in, learning and growing personally, it is a privilege for the children to, have parents who are invested and aware like these things exist. But there is a larger group which is like unaware, and you and me as coaches, we are doing the job every day on social media of bringing this awareness. And as you said, starting with acknowledging these feelings, these not being okay is also okay. You are a human being, and it's okay to not be, all 10 on 10,
Yeah.
all the time. And yeah, parents also, like, times are different, as you rightly said. And I think it, we, as, like, I would say, this generation onwards, we have this power of, having our future, generations let go, be free of the generational trauma that we are carrying. So I think with us it begins. And no it's with our lifetime. I would personally, like, with my kids, I'm always looking at from the, space, like how I can, break those patterns, and, let the new patterns, and, freedom is available for the youngsters, so they're not trapped. So there are conscious and subconscious traps as well.
Your children are blessed, I must say that. Really blessed to have you.
And that's why we, as coaches, we invest in self healing. We have many practices that, as a coach, I keep exploring, healing techniques. So with the therapies that you offer, what kind of shifts or what kind of tools you introduce with kids, youngsters, and, parents, so that they can bring a change, or, begin to see a change with the kind of stress they're dealing with.
So Ranjini, there are definitely multiple tools and practices available. And as I've mentioned that I'm also a yoga teacher. So one of the things that have really helped me, that really helped me, as I said, that what I do with when I am with another human being in a space like this, I definitely go back to my own lived experience. And one of the things, along with counseling and along with therapy and along with the talk therapy, what helped me was yogic practices,
Hmm.
pranayam breathing practices, meditation practices, mindfulness practices, because our mental and emotional health is linked. While the thought is in the head and we're overthinking it, the feelings we are feeling in the body. When we say we are stressed, where are we stressed? We feel it, the tingling, the tightness, the breath shortening. So I incorporate mind body based tools, practices. Depending on each person is different. Each person is different. I introduce yoga practices, very gentle yoga practices that help to release stress and anxiety from the body. And there is a wonderful practice, because when I was on my healing journey, as you rightly said, self healing, I explored many healing modalities because I wanted to heal myself. I wanted to understand more about how do I release all that I've been carrying. And only talk therapy is just one part of it. Definitely it helps to unload, right? But what do we do about everything that has been stored in the body? So practices like emotional freedom technique, which is again a beautiful practices. I also do Ho'oponopono healing again, which I have found very, very helpful in managing negative thinking. CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. So I think I would say those are some of the tools, but it's not that one size fits all. So I call this like these toolbox that I have, all these practices that I have. These are gems that I collect from my own experiences. Uh, and I share it with my students and with my clients. For some people, breathing practices have been very helpful. For some people, being mindful, meditation, guided meditation. So, just to give you some examples, and of course, creating a space for them to express and open up. And I think as human beings, we find talking very helpful, but that's, as I said, is just a part of it. So the second part is working with the emotions that are locked and blocked in the body, because when we've been suppressing things for so long, it gets stored in our body, it gets stored in our cells. Our cells have memory. As I always tell everybody, the body keeps a score. And then we work with some other somatic practices with the body movement to release those emotions. I think that gives you sort of an idea of a couple of healing practices that I incorporate.
Wonderful. And no, being a coach, we are exposed to all these, names. Maybe people who are listening to this, I think there are many people live right now, and that this could be new to you, but you can connect with Mandeep to learn more what these tools are. Yoga, definitely, we all aware like what yoga does to all of us, but there are many other things around, which are like which can be learned, which can be
Yes.
implemented, and it gives magical results, like
Magical.
like you and me are living examples of these magical results. So when it comes to a family or maybe a teenager dealing with, kind of some kind of a stress, and is there any language or conversational shifts that you would suggest, like, where how they can, make these conversations, or to not make a make a scene, like, there's something wrong. So
Yeah.
would you suggest some ideas around how to make these conversations with people, or even deal with the shame, like, though we touched upon this earlier in earlier questions, but just if you could, give us some advice if somebody is listening, how
Yeah.
to just open up about this.
Yeah. So, okay, let me address the first part is dealing with the shame and guilt about it. Definitely, I think those two factors, that feeling the shame and guilt around it and the silence that has built, that is one of the biggest factors that actually prevents people from seeking help. First thing is what are people going to say? What is my family going to say? And one of the things, the way I explain it to my clients is this, that we are not just physical beings. We have a physical body which we can see, but at the same time, we have a mind, we have our emotions. When we have a physical problem, let's say you have a fever or you have a wound, you're going to go to the doctor because your physical pain deserves support. Similarly, your emotional pain also deserves support. That is also a part of us. So there is no shame. So, looking at it, when you change your perspective, is that there is no shame in going to the doctor when your body is in pain, right? When your body is in pain. Similarly, when your inner world, which is also a part of you, is in pain, when you're in emotional pain, when you're in mental pain, there is no shame is seeking guidance. So that's one of the things that I try and make people understand, is that we are holistic beings. We are not just our bodies. We have different aspects of our own being, our own health, our mental, our emotional. So that sort of helps people to understand that yes, pain, whether it's physical or emotional, it deserves a support. And that has actually helped people to shift that yes, I deserve support, that there's nothing wrong in it. The second thing, when it comes about using language, yes, important. Again, when we talk about expression of emotions in an Indian setting, again, it can be intimidating, it can be taboo, especially if we have been taught to just suppress, suppress, suppress. and everybody pretends that everything is okay when we know it's not okay. Some of the things that can help, in my opinion and personal experiences of working with my clients, is there are certain words that can make it look like it's very dramatic. For example, rather than using the word like mental illness, or rather
Hmm.
than using the terms like psychologist, psychiatrist, so people automatically associate there is something wrong with you, that
Hmm.
you are psycho, there's something wrong with you. Rather than using that, talking about emotional well being, peace of mind, seeking guidance,
Hmm.
seeking guidance so I can have a better balance in my life. That sort of tones down, that sort of makes it look that it's not really dramatic, that there's nothing wrong with you. So using words like this, emotional well-being ho gaya, peace of mind ho gaya, that shifts it from a treatment. when
Hmm.
you when you use the terms like therapy, psychologist, it looks like you're a patient and you're into treatment, and it's wrong. But when you start that, okay, I am going to seek guidance to manage my emotions better. I am going to learn how to manage my well-being better. That shifts from treatment to care and support.
Hmm.
So I think those are small little shifts when you start talking more about peace of mind, emotional wellness, mental wellness, that helps to make it okay. This is okay. It's okay to do this for me. But
Hmm.
very, very important is to start talking about self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care. I would say that these terms, these little shifts, are definitely helpful to bring about more words like care, support, trust, even when we are talking to the children or even our partners when they're talking to each other. That I understand you, I acknowledge you, I support you, I'm here for you, rather than saying don't get angry or why are you getting angry. You're dismissing the other person, and then that person has to suppress the anger. And when you suppress
Yeah.
anger, it becomes diseases.
Very beautifully said, no? And you gave some golden nuggets around how to change the language that you speak to really turn around the situation that you're in. So I would like to quickly give an example of my daughter who was, going through her board exams, early this year, and sometimes even no matter how much equipped you are, sometimes you are not the right person to help. Right, so but understanding these signs when suddenly people are breaking up into anger or tears or a very abrupt behavior, and they don't know how to explain things, what's going on with them, are the signs where we can understand, like, they need help or they need space or they need someone where they can find a safe space. It need not be parents, it need not be a elder sibling. You need somebody who you feel safe to share. And I think that's where the counselor comes into picture. And nowadays even government schools have counselors, which is a good sign. And even we had a circular from the school during the board, like, no, there are people to seek support
Yeah,
and it's available, so which was a good sign. I was really looking at, thinking of my board exams. Like, it was, it was not there at that time, but good that we are opening up. But we need, the kind of times we are running into, we need more of this with the people, especially in this side of the world.
absolutely.
So, Mandeep, tell us, let people, if, like, I know it's almost half an hour, and if they want to connect with you, where they can find you, uh, you know, if you can tell the audience, like, best ways to reach you and programs you offer.
Great.
That.
So thanks, Ranjani, for this opportunity. And again, namaste, everyone. Thank you, everyone who's joined in. Your precious time is appreciated. So you will find me primarily on my social media, on my Facebook and on my Instagram, which is Coach Mandeep Kaur. And at the moment, I offer daily live morning Hatha Yoga classes, which we start every day in the morning. And the way the classes are curated is that I always include, it's a very beginner friendly yoga asana because I want it to be accessible to everybody. We include pranayam practices and a very short meditation practices, a very lovely way to start your day, with calm and peace. And I offer one-on-one sessions, which is one-on-one coaching and counseling sessions. So these are two things that I offer at the moment is yoga and coaching and counseling one-on-one. That's what I work with primarily. Most of the people is because I believe that makes a huge difference, especially when it comes to mental health. It's a very challenging area to do in a group setting because people are different.
Yeah.
There is confidentiality and there is a safe and non-judgmental space. So you're very welcome to reach out to me on my social media. It's Coach Mandeep Kaur on Instagram and with the same name on my Facebook. And then most of my clients and students they get in touch with me via DM, and then we pick up the conversation from there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And my little one is always around. So, okay, okay.
Amazing.
So, so he finds his own ways to, jump into my meetings. So, okay, 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 okay. Well, so I had a problem today that I could not close my door, but that's my life here. Thank you so much, Mandeep, for sharing very beautiful, information about not just you, the work that you do, but the movement that you have created. And it has started with your life. Your life has a lesson, and that message you're taking, and that is something which no, I advocate and I encourage people to take that lesson and share. The purpose of our life is to really find that meaning, the gift we have, and give it away, no, as long as we are here. And closing, I would just want to know from you what would you like to tell the audience today, those who are watching you? What is your message to the viewers?
Thank you again for this opportunity. And if there is one last thing that I would like to share with the viewers is that whether you are with your partner or whether it's your children, um, do take any conversations around mental health seriously. The most important thing you can do to your family members, whether they are partners or children, is listen to them without judgment and acknowledge. And that's where the journey begins. That's where you open that little door to let the other person know that you are there for them. And I think that's the biggest thing that I learned from my personal space was that I was looking for just a little bit of support from one person in the society, relatives, that I acknowledge your feelings, I see you, I hear you, I understand you. And I didn't get that from people who were close to me. So I had to take professional help. But what you can do is that just make them feel that you see them and that you hear them and you acknowledge them. And that is a beginning. That's what they need at that point. And then the journey can start from there. It's just that.
Beautiful. I think this is the need of the hour. Like human beings want to be feel heard and acknowledged, and
Acknowledge.
it's a high time. Like we are really in a scarcity of this listening, the human connection,
Yeah.
and we are here to advocate that, bring awareness. As coaches, any coaching fraternity is here to
Yeah.
help. And thank you so much for Mandi for this lovely conversation, and I look forward to having more. And see you soon.
Me too,
Take
Ranjini. Thank you so much for this time. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to everyone who joined in. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, dear. Bye bye.
Bye.